Greetings, this is Operative here of Gamers Roundtable, and we're going to be doing a Gamer Revisiting. The Gamer Revisiting this time for the system of choice is the GameCube, Nintendo Gamecube that is. That was released in North America and Canada in 2001, November of 2001 that is. The GameCube was affectionately known as, code name in Nintendo known as the Dolphin. I believe that's because of the ATI card that was referred to as the flipper. So the two kind of went together. So I guess that's where the name comes from, the dolphin itself. Because I remember reading in the back of the different industry magazines about the code name, the dolphin of the system that Nintendo was working on at the time. But the most exciting thing about the GameCube was that we were finally getting CD storage based games. But Nintendo had a little surprise for us. These were the CD storage based games, these little mini CDs. Now, to me, once again, this is Nintendo way of so called fighting piracy. You know, their biggest thing about having their games pirated, and sold illegally. And, that's their business and they have the right to do that because they are in the business to make money. But one of the drawbacks is we all know that using this CD, mini CD that is, that we didn't get DVD playback and you couldn't play a full music CD. And some might argue that, as far as Nintendo, I've read Nintendo representatives says that who buys systems to watch movies on? There are people who bought millions and millions of PlayStation 2s to watch DVDs on, so I have to disagree with that. Having a system as a secondary source entertainment source of device is nothing wrong with that. I'm sorry, I don't feel there is anything wrong with the fact is if you can use your gaming device as a secondary source. Of course, it's going to be used as its primary source, which is playing games. But there's nothing wrong with that. If it's you can use it for something else as well as an entertainment value. I agree, and I like the fact that the games are going. Everything about a system is more media oriented than just games itself. You want to be able to feel like as much as money as we're spending for these systems, you want to be able to do more with them. But I digress because I'm getting off the subject here. Once again, we're looking at the GameCube, as I said. 21 million as was sold across worldwide, that is. Once again, we're looking at the design itself. Very simplistic. What they give you is pretty much what the name says itself, a GameCube. Sometimes referred to as the gaming lunchbox because of the handle that's on back. And the controller. Once again, we can go off about the controllers because I love talking about Nintendo controllers. They're really wacky because I always remember in reading about the article what Shigeru Miyamoto said about how normally he envisioned controllers that works with the games of his imagination. And we all know Shigeru Miyamoto, sorry if I missed my not pronouncing her name, that comes up. He has a pretty wild imagination when it comes to games, and and he has a pretty loyal following. So if I butchered his name, I apologize to those who are fans of his. First and foremost, I don't want to be hated because of that. But the controller is pretty interesting. I've heard it called the clown controller, the jelly bean controller, the bonk bonk controller. It's a lot of different funny names I've heard over time. But Nintendo, you have to say one thing about the GameCube. They did release and come up with some interesting franchises with the GameCube itself. It went on, as you see in the background, I have playing here, Animal Crossing, which at this date has sold 15 million copies. So they did build a franchise out of that, and not to mention the beloved game Pikmin was one of the games that was one of the franchises that did become very successful onto the system, and some people are very looking forward to Pikmin 2. Hopefully, we will see some footage from that game pretty soon. And one of the things about the GameCube, we all knew that it was top loaded down from the top. You loaded from the system, and it had 3 buttons on top up here: one for release, one for power, and one for reset. So it was, nothing really fancy about it. It was just, it is what it is. It's pretty much the name, like I said before, sums it up. It's a game cube, you know. So, but the thing is, here, I don't have a GameCube anymore, and there's a reason, as I explained earlier, why I don't have a GameCube. The reason why I have a GameCube, one evening I was watching the evening news and I saw a story about a lady, a local story that is, that happened, that her house was broken into and vandalized by some unknown assailants. And one of the things they did, besides destroying furniture, wrecking the house, and generally destroying the poor woman's house, they destroyed the woman's son's GameCube. And somehow that struck a chord in me. And I felt so bad about when I heard it that I immediately jumped on my computer and found the story on the website and wrote the station and asked if there any possible way I could donate my GameCube to the son of the lady in which that the crime occurred to. And amazing enough, within days, I got a phone call from the news station, and they set up a meeting for me to meet the lady to hand over the GameCube. I met her. She seemed like a nice lady. She just seemed like someone that personally that would, I guess, have someone would have such a beef against that they would want to smash her house. But I don't know, people will go through people's minds these days that would do such things, that want to harm people in that sort of way. But I was just more than happy that I had a chance to give back and help a fellow gamer. And that was the cool part. I really felt, I can't really describe the feeling that it gave me to give back like that, to know that, that I gave back to a gamer, that to someone who enjoys something as much and had something violently taken away from them, and to put back out there in this world that there's people who care. It's not all bad people in the world. There are people who actually care. So that's the reason I can't physically go through the system. I usually use display, but most of you who have seen my channel normally, I go to display route because it's a lot more simple for me just to point out to have a display. So it's not a big thing for me, but I just wanted to know and put that out there, let people know that, encourage gaming, give out, give back, help out. If you see a child that can't help, that's like, for instance, the Foundation Child's Play. They do that. They give gaming systems and games out to the unfortunate children that are in hospitals who can't do anything but sit in the hospital bed and be sick, unfortunately. And they give back to the community. So as gamers, let's not forget that. I guess that's one of the things I want to put in this video here. Make sure that we all remember that gaming is a shared experience, and we all need to share it with as many people as possible, not just among those on YouTube, not among those who watch our channel, those who are around us, those who are in our real lives, those who people that matter. So all I can say at the end of this video, keep gaming, take care of everyone, peace out, and happy gaming to everyone. Until next time, YouTube, take care.